here from my side so that everything, so the recording comes through clearly. Amazing. And then you can go ahead and unmute yourself at the end if you have questions. Okay, let's go ahead and let's start on the mat. Let's actually go ahead and we're going to start with a couple of roll downs today. So I'm going to pull my mat back and then, well, I'll come back closer to you. All right, so when we're rolling down, we want to find a really rounded spine, okay? And I'm going to actually spend a little bit of time today. Let me just tilt this up. A little bit of time today seeing can we really find that rounded spine to release across the mid back, to release across the lower back, and to really plug the hip deep in the socket, okay? So let's go ahead, find the feet on the mat. And then really gently, all right, let the head roll forwards. And then go ahead and feel the back of the neck lengthen to stack up, okay? And we're going to do that again. Eyes gently roll forwards. And then go ahead and pick them back up. And we're going to let the head roll forwards and let's leave it there. And then we're going to roll the shoulders towards each other and use that to gently round your upper back. Now you've got a clear sighting of your toes. And then go ahead, start to round your shoulders in the opposite direction and lift the head. So if you're standing, palms forwards, okay, which is sort of unnatural. You don't need to be standing palms forward. But just notice that as you nod your head and roll forward, you're rolling your arm bones around. So your palms are sort of facing back or maybe even starting to turn away. That's going to invite the rib cage to roll over. And then go ahead and come back up. So we're really going to break down the roll down, okay? Let's go again. Long in the back of the neck, shoulders rolling towards each other. Because when we find these positions and when we break them down and we start to really sort of explore them, then they start to feel really good as opposed to just down and up and down and up. And then go ahead and release it. All right, let's continue a little bit. Let's maybe come to along the line of your bra strap or your shoulder blades. So we're going to lengthen through the back of the neck. We're going to roll the shoulders forwards. We're going to allow the arms to gently draw the ribs rounding forwards. Good. Notice that my hips haven't really moved at all. That's it. Let yourself round sort of to that mid back. And then go ahead. Start with these lower ribs. Those ribs start to drop back and down, back and down, back and down, back and down. Shoulders open and head lifts. Let's go again. Lengthen through the back of the neck. Allowing those ribs to drop forwards, weight of the arms. Let's roll up until that last point where we need to sort of roll over the hips. Then let's pause it here. Now go ahead, start to roll over the tops of the thigh bones, maintaining that rounded spine, heavy arms, okay? Good. And then gently press the floor away, roll the pelvis back on top of your thigh bones, and then we start to drop the ribs down in the back to open you up in the front. Let's go one more time like this. Roll, really, really long through the back of you, and then feel the pelvis start to turn and roll over. Good, rounded spine, and we're gonna stick. Good. Now gently here, just breathe in between your shoulder blades. And then exhale. As you exhale, your breastbone is gonna reach up towards the ceiling. So we're getting a little more rounded on your exhale. Arms are still just hanging out of those arm sockets. They've got nothing to do here. You might feel a little pins and needly in your fingers maybe. That's fine. One more breath, inhale. And then exhale, press the floor away. Roll the pelvis on top of your thigh bones. And then stack the spine back up. Okay, let's start to explore those hips a little bit. So we're going to sit as if you're sitting back down chair, go ahead, come into that full low squat, okay? Right down to the mat, hands to the mat. Good, well done. Go ahead, walk your hands out onto all fours. Excellent. And now we're going to reverse that. Hands walk back, roll onto your feet, and then press to standing. Good. So super functional, yeah? Hips back, your heels will lift, hands walking out. Good. And remember, your only goal here is to get up and down off the floor. And can we do it in a way that's sort of really efficient? So hips back, sit to squat. Again, let's slow this down. Hands to the mat and go ahead, let your knees come down. Good. Then walk back, roll and be in this really deep squat, really nice. Now, when you come up, okay, it can be really tempting to push your bum back and then lift the chest. What I want you to try to do is allow your chest bone to sort of look forwards and then push the ground away so that we come up, yeah, without that back having to hinge up. Let's do that 2 more times. Hips back, hands to mat, walk it out. Good, well done. Walk it back, roll through the heels. This is really lengthening for that lower back, yeah? And then press to standing. Nice, 1 more time. Bend it down, hands to the mat. Good. Walk it onto all fours, and we're going to stay here. Okay. Let's explore that spine a little bit now. So, before we start to really move the spine, let's get into those hands, okay? Hands give us so much feedback into our core. So I want you to press your hands into the mat and just notice what happens. Keep pushing the floor away as hard as you can. Ah, that's it. Yes, your rib cage will start to round. And then go ahead, relax it. Do that again. Press the floor away hard as you can without creating any sort of tension, any sort of pushback. And then just let it go. We're going to press the mat away, start to round the ribs. Rolling the ribs, that's it. Let's tuck the tail. This is flexion. And then we're going to widen the seat bones out behind you. Move through the spine. That's it. Good. Into that tiny little bit of extension. Important here, we're still pushing the mat away. We're not collapsing the chest down. Okay? We're going to press the mat away. We round the spine. Think opening the back of the vertebra, opening the back of the spine to the ceiling. And then when we reverse it, we open the front of the spine towards the floor and the back of the spine closes. Good. Let's go one more time. And this is so good for really mobilizing the joints in your spine, but also nourishing the discs, because now they're getting movement in 2 directions. Okay, and we'll give them movements in the other directions as well too. Now we're going to reach the tailbone out behind you, and you're going to sit back into your heels. Okay, good. Keeping your hands where they are. Now we're going to come forwards again, lead with your tail. Round your spine, come forwards into your hands. Release the tail, sit back into your heels. Round the spine, come up to all fours. Release, widen the seat bones, release the tail, and lean back. So we're moving almost like a wave. And we're moving the spine here. We're prioritizing spinal movement, but we're getting hip movement and we're getting shoulder movement as well. All right, well done. On your next one, go ahead and stay back there. And I want you to take your hands just in front of your knees. Good. We're going to tuck the toes underneath. Perfect. And I want you to just gently lift your knees up until your elbows and then slide them back. Really good. Now the key to this is not to take the weight in your hands and not to take the weight in your core necessarily. We're going to send the heels back. So get your hips back. That's it. Slide the kneecaps to your armpits if you can, and then go forward. Now, know that this is deep, okay? This is tough, so just really take your time with it. And when it comes to increasing range, we want to go slowly, we want to go softly. We don't want to push through restrictions necessarily. We want nice and gently to start to own, to start to really be in control of all of our new ranges. Not push it so that we get there, but we're not really, our body hasn't really had time to catch up. We want to learn. Good. And then on your next one, go ahead. Take yourself as far as you can comfortably. So we're in deep hip flexion. The seat is dropping down towards your heels. Your seat bones are super wide. Don't squeeze, don't clench, don't do anything. Forget you have a pelvic floor, forget you have a core. Just be here, okay? Arms are reaching, and we're so rounded in the spine here. I want you to take a really big breath in through the nose. And then we're going to exhale through the nose as well, gently rounding your spine a little bit more. One more time, inhale. And exhale. Feel the weight. And then go ahead, slide the knees back down onto the mat. Really good, guys. Go ahead and walk it out onto all fours, okay? From here now, we're going to start to open the hips. So make sure you put some space out behind you. We're going to keep both hands where they are. Find that sort of nice spot in the middle for your spine, okay? Give a little push with the hands. I'm going to start with my left leg. I'm going to slide my leg out behind me. My foot stays on the floor, and then I slide it back in. And I'm going to go left leg again. Open the hip and close the hip. Now what I want you to do, right, once you've got the rhythm of that leg, it knows what it's doing. Can we feel that lengthening sensation from the abdominal wall right down into the front of that hip as that leg moves away? The head is on your spine, so tempted to let it drop. Keep that head on your spine and keep a gentle push of the hands into the mat. On your next one, leave the leg out there. Stay there with the leg, but take your opposite arm off the mat. Reach it, and then take it back down. Let's try that one more time. Arms going to reach out in front of you. Now, can you stay here? All you have to do is just stay here. Soften into your breath. Push the mat away with your standing arm a little more. And then pick up that long leg. Nice. Now breathe just for 4, for 3, for 2, for 1. We're going to replace the leg. Replace the hand, reset, and let's go opposite side. Hip opens and hip closes. Slide it away and take it back. Good. We're going to reach and we pull back in. Keep checking in where are your ribs. Are we squeezing those shoulder blades, or can we push the mat away a little more? Can we keep almost a slight round in that upper back? Because your upper back is supposed to be rounded. That's the way your spine curves. Good, and we often lose that curve trying to sort of perfect our posture. On your next one, let the leg out there, stay just for a sec. Be here. Make sure you've got equal weight right and left. And then we're going to slide the opposite arm away. Then replace the hand. Nice, once more. Reach the arm, and stay there with the arm. Pick up the leg. And just be here. Push the mat away a little more. Maybe lift the hip of the lifted leg a little more. 3, 2, 1. Foot down, hand down, and take it in. Really good. Go ahead and come through. And we're going to take it down onto your back. Lovely. We did a lot of work with bridging last week, so we're not going to spend as much time exploring bridging today, but we are going to do some new variations. So we're going to stand the feet into the floor. Perfect. And we're going to nice and gentle just lift the tail, release the tail. Lift the tail, release the tail. Tail up, tail away, chin away. Tail up, chin up, tail away, chin away. So we're getting this really lovely sequential movement through the spine. One more time. Good. Okay, now We're going to press the feet into the floor, tail up, and we're going to lift the pelvis, soften the jaw, reach the knees over your toes, making sure that we're not pushing in those arms heavy and dropping. Good. Little tuck in the tail a little bit more, maybe feel the backs of your legs, say hello. And then we're going to drop the spine back down into the mat. Pour the weight of the thigh bones into the pelvic calves. Again, lift the tail, reach the knees away from your shoulders, open the hips, send the weight into your feet, out of your shoulders, and then drop the ribs, feeling like the muscles in your back separate as your spine drops down between them. Good, one more time. Lift the tail, and then reach the knees out of your hips. Good. Feel the front of the hip open to the ceiling. Back of the hip narrow. Head and release it. Halfway down. So your pelvis now is just hanging there. Okay. Really slow. We're going to keep both feet on the floor. I just want you to reach your right knee out in front of you. Go as far forwards with that right knee as you can so that your left hip hangs away. And then stand into your left foot, take them back to center. Let's go with the left knee. Reach the left knee as far forwards as you can. It's going to tilt your pelvis. And then we're going to stand into the other foot, take it back to center. Knee reaches, hip drops, knee back and center. Knee reaches, hip drops, take it back to center. So imagine that you had a ball between those thighs. And what we're doing is we're sliding the ball forwards and backwards as we slide the legs forwards and backwards. We reach, take it back, and reach. Let's do that one more time. Reach and back, stay, and then drop the spine all the way home. Good. Press the feet together. Let's just do some bent knee follows. Soft arms, we're going to let one knee roll away from the other, opening that inner thigh, slide it out, and roll it in. Let's straight away go to that opposite leg. Again, this is an exercise that we've done a couple of times. And in. Heavy pelvis, heavy other foot. Let's go one more time. And then after this, you are welcome to stay one leg at a time, alternating. But if you can, let's take both legs gently, slowly. And again, notice, just in yourself, are you pushing for a stretch? Or are you sort of gently allowing the roll of the femur to open through the hip? Neither is right, neither is wrong. But can we try a little less? Can we access a little bit more body? Good. And come back in. Okay, let's stay here now. Now we're going to take, again, a little bit of unleveling to the pelvis. Press the feet through the floor, lift the tail, and reach the knees. Good. Now, drop the arms, or if you can, reach your arms to the ceiling. So you've got a little more weight in the ribs. And then from there, I'm going to drop my left hip to the floor, and then I lift my left hip back up. Drop my right hip to the floor, and I lift my right hip back up. Left hip comes down, knees reach forwards, balance the pelvis. Left hip comes down, knees reach forwards, pause for a sec. Now we're going to drop the left hip down and the right hip follows. Left hip lifts, right hip follows. Left hip down, right hip down. Left hip up, right hip up. One more. Left hip down, right hip down. Left hip up, right hip up. Reverse it. Right hip down, left hip down. Right hip up, left hip up. So we go down, down, up, up. Last one. Down, down, up, up. Good. Stay there. And and then release the arms to the floor, let the body return. Excellent. Okay, your last little bit, guys, and then you're out of your bridge series. Press your feet through the floor, lift the tail. Just check in that you've got really strong feet, and then go ahead and lift the pelvis. Reach the knees, feel that long line. Good, making sure that we're not popping up in those ribs. Let the front ribs drop in and back. Now I'm going to stand all my weight to my right leg, and I roll my left leg into tabletop. Good. Slowly I replace my left foot to the floor. I'm going to stay on the same leg, yeah? Lift the left leg up 2 more times. Up. And replace. Last one, hugging those hips together. Good. And down. Now stay for a sec. Press into your left foot. And right leg comes up. And finds the floor. Hug your hips together. And lift. And floor. One more. Lift. Good. And floor. Hips fly down to the mat. Little pelvic tilt, releasing out. All right, well done. Now, last little bit of work. I know I said that about the last one. This is actually your last little bit of bridging today. Pressing your right foot into the floor. Go ahead and take that left leg into tabletop. Feel the leg drop. Now I'm going to press my right foot through the floor. Lift my tailbone. Lift up into bridge. Replace your left foot slowly to the floor. And then lift your right leg up. And then replace the body all the way down. We lie back down. Now I keep my right leg in the air. Lift the tail, press to lift the pelvis. I swap my legs at the top. And then I lower myself back down onto the mat. Release the seat. One more round. Lift the tail, press it up. Swap the legs at the top. Slide the body back down to the floor. Last one, press the floor away, lift the tail. Swap the legs at the top and slide all the way down. Amazing, really good. Go ahead, hug the knees into you and release. 2 more. 1 more. And release. Excellent. Take your time now. Go ahead and roll over onto your front. Let me just pull this back. And we're going to do a little bit of extension before we come to your abdominal series today. Alrighty. Okay, so hands under the shoulders. Let's revisit the start. So hips heavy, ribs heavy. Perfect. And when you think about lifting up, I want you to think about your back ribs, just gently turning around. So gently just rolling back and down, okay? So hands under the shoulders, elbows to the ceiling, shoulders rolling forwards. We're going to slide the elbows back, slide the shoulders back, and use that as a little invitation to lift the chest. And then release it all the way forwards, elbows up, shoulders forward. Let's roll the elbows back, shoulders back, pulling the mat to you as you gently lift just those upper ribs, keeping all of those lower ribs down. Feel a little longer in the back of your neck, and then releasing down. Let's add, every time we roll up, let's see, can we lift another rib, yeah? So we're gonna roll the elbows, roll the shoulders, pull the mat, maybe we lift to the sternum, to the end of that sternum. And then we slowly release it down. You can take your legs wider, and it's gonna make it more manageable. Narrower legs might be a little much if you're tight in your lower back, okay? Yes, nice, you guys. And rolling it down. Let's do 2 more. Maybe coming towards the hips. And if we come all the way up, we gotta lift your hip bones and the front of your pelvis. Yes. Yes, some beautiful shapes. Well done, you guys. Elbows down, releasing, returning, softening. Okay, one more time. Elbows. Good. And we're gonna press. We've got that beautiful stretch along the front of you, ribs opening. and then we release it all the way down, and we return. Good, let's take the hands, slide them underneath your forehead, drop your forehead to your hands. Good. Now from here, I'm gonna reach all the way out through my right toes, so much that my leg just lifts up and off the floor. Feel the back of the thigh press up to the ceiling and release. Left leg, reach, 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 and release. Right leg, reach, 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 and release. Good. Then as the leg lifts, you don't ever need to be too worried about how high it gets. What I want you to think about is how long that leg gets. And as the leg lifts, can you be aware that the back of the thigh, and then at the last second, your glute, your bum muscles, take that leg up. We're going to do 2 more. Let's do that one more time. Now when you're ready, go ahead and lift the right leg, lift the left leg, keep reaching. If your ribs have gotten a little light, maybe you want to lower the legs or lift the legs a little bit. Just play around with how high they are. Now you're going to lift your right leg up, your left leg up. Your right leg, your left leg. We press and press. Kick up and up. Now can you be straighter in your legs? This is one where I always think I'm straight, and then I have a look, or I see it in a video, and they're not bang on. So can you think length? And length. Last 2, last 1, and release the legs. Good, you guys. Go ahead now, send your arms back down by your sides, shoulders rolled forward. We're going to turn the palms towards your hips, reach the fingertips to your toes, reach the crown of your head forwards, and yes, and invite that chest to lift. And then we return, rolling the shoulders, melting it down. And again, roll the shoulders, reach to lengthen, and slowly return, replacing it down. Last time, roll the shoulders, reach through the fingers, long in the spine. Now stay for a sec. Drop halfway down. Nice and slowly, I want you to bend your elbows by your sides. Or sort of, sorry, out in front of you, so that your elbows and your armpits are in the same line. And then we're going to drop the arms and the head to the floor. So now those arms are in a W position, okay? Well done. From here, I'm going to lift my forearms off the floor, lift the elbows, lift the chest. Return everything down. 2 more. Roll the forearm. Lift just gently, just slightly. Open across the collarbones. And then release. 1 more time. Roll the palm up. Lift. Now lift less than you think you should. And see how that feels. Lift a little higher. Lift a little, or lower down a little. Then stay low. Reach the arms overhead. So now we're reaching forwards. Swim those arms for 5, 4, allowing a little wobble side to side in your torso. Last 2, last 1, releasing everything to the floor. Good, guys. Go ahead, take it up onto all 4s. Let's release out the back here. We're just going to press the mat weight around and then sit back into the heels. Long stretch all the way away. Reach and breathe for 4, for 3, 2, good, and 1, and then rolling all the way up. Perfect, excellent. Okay, stay kneeling for me. Unless that's in any way uncomfortable, then please feel free to sit or do whatever feels better to you, okay? I'm gonna go, my right arm comes out in front, my left arm's gonna come across my ribcage, okay? Just for a bit of feedback, so you know where you're going. Palm facing in, thumb to ceiling, baby finger to floor. I want you to reach forward with your right fingertips. That's it. And now I want you to keep reaching forwards, but don't allow your ribs to move. Keep reaching forwards, but don't allow your ribs to move. Okay, now relax. Now I want you to reach forwards, but allow your arm to move your ribs, okay? So we reach and allow that rib cage to go with you. Notice how much easier that reach is. And come back. Again, reach and allow that rotation. And back. Reach. So the arm is still going forward, but now your chest bone is going towards the opposite thigh. Let's do that one more time. Reach, good. Come back now, let's stay here. Let's stay with that same arm. Now we do want to keep the ribs kind of quiet. We're going to let that arm come towards the ceiling. Turn the palm, open it down and around. Arm comes up. And open, and amazing. Lower ribs still dropping. One more time. Good, yes, excellent. And release, good. We're gonna swap arms on the torso. So I'm gonna take my opposite arm out in front, and then reach the arm forwards and allow it to turn the rib cage gently. And then we come back. Good. So you don't have to actively turn the ribs. All you have to do is not stop it. We just don't want to get in your body's way. Perfect. And again, this is what I'm talking about when I say make it easier. Because your body has all of these really perfect mechanisms to spiral, to twist, and to turn. And sometimes when we try really hard, we make it really hard. Good. One more time. And then take it back. Okay, now. We're going to roll the shoulder bone down as the arm rolls to the ceiling. Circle it down and around to your side. Good. And again, two more. This is also really lots of ankle stretching for a lot of us who might be tight in the ankles and the shins. One more time. Good. And release it. Okay, excellent. Let's go ahead now. Come down onto your back. Take your time, roll yourself down there. Good. So we're going to get straight into a little bit of dead bug work. So let's take those legs up 90-90-ish. Perfect. And reach the arms towards the ceiling. Feel that as your arms reach to the ceiling, your ribs get to drop back. We're going to take right arm, left leg. So arm reaches back, leg reaches away, and all I want you to do is just make sure that nothing in your torso changes. Those ribs don't pop, that lower back doesn't lift. And then back, opposite arm and leg to reach and return. And I want you to imagine that you're wearing a seatbelt, two seatbelts. So one seatbelt gets stretched, the other stays exactly as it is, and then we return. And then that other seatbelt, so that shoulder to hip connection. Good. So we're going to go 4 and back. 3 and return. Let's do it 2 more times. Lengthen it away. Return it back. Last one, send it long and return. We're going to keep the arms in the air. We're going to drop the feet for a step. We're going to lift the fingers to the ceiling. Lift your shoulders off the mat. Feel your head start to want to lift. Let's go with it. Lift the head. The eyes roll forwards. The arms roll just sort of towards the knees. And we allow that turning of the ribs. And then we're going to drop the ribs slowly back, head back, and arms release. 2 more. Arms and reach. Slide the ribs, stay here, and then release it all the way back down. Now, I just want to let you know that we're going to explore your abdominals on the next bit. So if you need to take a break at any stage while it feels like I'm talking to you for hours and your abs hate you, that's fine too. Take a break and come back, okay? So we're going to reach the arms up. We're going to allow the head to lift. We're going to turn the ribs, reaching the arms sort of here-ish, above your knees. Now we're going to turn your attention to your abdominals. In saying that, you're going to stay here. I want you to forget about your abdominals. I want you to think about your breath and about your rib cage. So we're going to inhale through the nose. As you exhale through the nose, you drop your ribs further forwards and down, forwards and down, forwards and down. Inhale. And those ribs are going to wrap towards each other. And as the ribs wrap, that's going to push all the air out of your abdominals. And let's go ahead and release it just for a sec. Good, well done. Okay. Again, I want you to think less about pulling your abdominals in super tight and a little bit more about using that exhale to use the muscles to push the air out of your body. That's going to get us super flat and wide across our abs, okay? So we're going to reach the arms, let yourself lift, and reach the hands towards the knees. We're going to go inhale, 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 exhale, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Inhale, 3, 2, 1. Exhale, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Inhale, 1, 2, 3. Exhale, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. Relax it all the way down. Arms overhead, legs reaching long. All right, so let's add a challenge if you're able. If you want to keep your feet down, you're so welcome. But if you can, slide those legs in. We're going to take those legs up into tabletop. Amazing. This time, go ahead and take your hands behind your thigh bones. It's going to pull your knees into you just slightly. Elbows wide. Lift the chest. Roll the ribs. Feel like you're making your torso into a hammock. Breathe in, 2, 3, 4, and out. 2, 3, lifting up. You're going to breathe in between your shoulder blades. As you breathe out, push into your thighs and lift your chest just a little more. I know it's hard. Go again, in, 2, 3, 4, and exhale, feeling that belly button drop back. Those hip bones smile wider. One more, in, 2, 3, 4. Exhale, press, press, and lift it up. Release it down. Really good. Well done, you guys. Okay, let's add some rolling, and then we're going to continue. So, like you've got those iron boots back on your feet. Don't try to balance. Just get your feet to the floor. Press your thigh bones into your hands to roll yourself up to seated. Gorgeous. Yes. Slide the feet along the mat to roll it back down and release. Press the feet to the mat to roll it up. Slide the legs back and down to release. One more time. Press the feet to the mat to roll. Good. Well done. Lovely, guys. And then all the way back down. Okay, nice. We're going to do just a little bit of single leg stretch. And I want you to slow it right down, okay? Hands are going to be on your knees. Again, I want you to push gently down and pull gently out with your elbows, lifting the chest up. All right, now we're going to take both hands onto that right kneecap or that right shin. Pull the leg to you and lift the chest to the leg. Send your other leg away and just stay here for a sec. We're going to breathe. I know this is an exercise where we move a lot, but I want you to stay. I want you to feel this position. Get the sense of lengthening through the leg, of drawing the other knee deep, and of lifting the chest. Can we breathe? Can we inhale behind your ribs? Can we exhale and lift up? Take the other leg in and relax for a sec, let it come down. We're really learning to drop these ribs here, okay? Let's go again, lifting yourself up. Both hands to that left leg, send the right leg away. Okay, now let's lift a little more. We're going to inhale. As you exhale, lift a little higher, shoulder blades. One more. And press, press, press. And knee comes in. And we release. Good, you guys. Okay, let's add that dynamic movement to it. So we're going to roll up and off the mat. Both hands to that right leg. Send the left leg away. You can absolutely drop the upper body if you need to. Let's swap and hold. As your legs move, I want to think about how steady your pelvis is. Reach and reach. How steady your back is on the mat. And how connected your ribs are to your pelvis. That torso is one unit. Now, the lower you take the legs, the more challenging. So please feel free to reach the feet up to the ceiling, to where the wall meets the ceiling, to whatever space feels good to you. 4, 3, 2, and 1. Go ahead and put both knees in. And we're going to release it. Last little bit of work on the front core of the body here, you guys. I want you to take your right hand overhead, your left hand behind your head. Okay. Good. Now I'm going to let my feet slide away from me a little more. So I'm cradling my skull with my left hand. Okay. Take a breath. When you're ready, long back of the neck. Roll yourself forwards, reach the right arm. Now I'm going to pump that right arm. Let me spin to you a little more on the side. I'm going to pump that right arm in, 2, 3, 4, exhale, 2, 3, 4, inhale, 2, 3, 4, exhale, 2, 3, 4, inhale, 2, 3, 4, exhale, 2, 3, 4, don't move, stay here, and relax it all the way down. Now I'm going to reach the right arm overhead. I'm going to circle it out and I'm going to curl up. I'm going to let it come overhead as I come down. Circle it to the side. As the arm reaches towards the toes, I curl up one more time. Reach it overhead. Circle it around and curl up. Good. Now I'm going to take that hand onto my ribs, onto those lower ribs, and I'm just going to pull the ribs down. 4. Ribs down to lift the chest, 3. Ribs down to lift the chest, 2. Ribs down to lift the chest, 1. Ooh, and let everything come back to the mat. We're going to swap hands. So my right hand comes behind my head, my left arm reaches overhead. I'm going to take that breath and I'm going to curl up as I reach out and exhale. And I pump that arm. Inhale, 2, 3, 4, 5. Exhale, 2, 3, 4. Keep dropping the lower back to the mat. In, 2, 3, 4, 5. Out, 2, 3, 4, 5. Last time, keep the arm a little higher. Out, 2, 3, 4. Pause. Arm comes to the ceiling. I line myself back to the mat. Circle the arm to the side and I curl forward. Arm comes up and I release down. Arm to the side and I circle forward one more time. Arm up, let it lie your body down. Arm around and I lift the chest bone. Take that hand onto your lower ribs. Slide them down for 4. For 3. Rib slide for 2. Rib slide for 1. And I release it to the mat. Really good. When you're ready, good. We're going to send the arms overhead, send the legs all the way out in front of you. Make your body as long as it can be. Now we're going to imagine you're lying on a sheet, okay? You're going to pick that sheet up to the ceiling, over your head. Keep reaching that sheet towards your toes. Breathe it out as you roll up to seated. Dropping those ribs. Well done. And then all the way. Good. Go ahead. Come onto all fours. Excellent. Hands to the mat. Spread your fingers. Good. Now, last little bit of dynamic work for your core and to your pelvis, okay? This is exactly what we did with those knee reaches in bridge work, okay? You're just in a different orientation to gravity. So hands to the mat, knees to the mat. We're gonna round the spine. Feel those ribs, hug your abdominals. This is what makes us really good at that lying down abdominal work, yeah? And just makes us good at life. Okay, when you're ready, tuck the toes. I want you to hover your knees. Keep your hips slightly behind your knees. Round the spine. And release. Good. Let's do that one more time. Round the spine. Sit back slightly. Hover the knees. Now I want you to drop your right knee to the mat. Lift your left hip up. Your left knee to the mat. Lift your right hip up. So one knee goes down. The other hip bone gets sucked up into that hip socket. Good. If we maintain the round in the spine, we're going to feel all sorts of side abdominal muscles. Last 2. Last 1. Both knees down. Sit into a long child's pose, into a shell stretch, and soften the breath. Good. And then from there, Go ahead, take the hands to the mat. We're gonna stay sitting back in the heels. We're gonna lift the knees and take the weight into the hands. Bend the knees, take the weight to your heels, and you can let those knees drop in between. So I'm gonna push the mat forwards, my knees lift, and then I reach back with my heels and I send my body forward. It's gonna feel like if I come over your hands. Bend the knees, sit into your hips, into your heels, drop the knees. Let's try that one more time, you guys. Hands push down, hands push the mat forwards to lift your knees, to reach it away. We're gonna stay on this one. Keep breathing, keep lengthening, keep reaching out through those heels. Press the mat away, these are strong. Give me 3, 2, on 1. Bend the knees, walk the hands back towards your feet. Excellent. And then take your time. Slowly press the feet through the floor. And we're going to come all the way up to standing. Nice. Find both of your feet on the floor. Standing tall. Good. Well done. I'm going to take one arm up towards the ceiling. And then I'm going to let my opposite hand slide down towards my ankle. The one that moves me is my sliding down arm, and the other arm just gives me a bit of weight. Good, soften the knees. And then I slide that arm back up, and I stand. One more, same side. Slide the hand down the outside seam of your leg, reach. Slide the arm up, and we're stacked. Go ahead and replace that hand, and opposite arm is going to reach. Let's try it here. Sliding down towards the outside of the ankle. Let that open the ribs on the opposite side. Press and up. Good. One more time. Sliding down to reach and open the ribs. And then gently sliding up and release. Very good. Well done. You guys, thank you so much. That brings you to the end of today's session. As always, if you have any questions, please fire away. You can, as always, ask now. You can pop on your microphone, or you can type it in the chat, or you can always send it to me afterwards in an email if you would prefer. Very good. And otherwise, I will see you back in the mat on Thursday. And the recordings, as I say, will go into the video library so that you can do them again, or you can catch up.